Conference will now be recorded.
Yes. Hello, everybody. This is the Veteran Support Group for November the 18th, 2025. I am Jim Marshall. I am the moderator along with Colonel Boykin, Jordan, and others that will probably chime in. The first thing I would like to do is to thank the AnCan Foundation and sponsors that that um, make this happen. And the sponsors are Johnson and Johnson, Novartis, Bayer, Foundation Medicine, Myriad Genetics, Telix, and Blue Earth Diagnostics. And this is a support group to speak about the VA, also military retirement um, benefits, health care, and also I can address federal civilian health care and retirement. So if anybody has a question about the intersection of all three, I can handle it. And I was an Air Force retiree and then a federal civilian retiree for 22 years working around government civilians. And it was a total culture shock to do that, but it was fun. Okay, we've got some new people, and specifically, I give them the chance to go first. And in fact, I'm going to do something a little bit different because, anyway, I'm in other support groups, military for the Fort Belvoir Hospital and also Walter Reed Hospital. And we've got Tom Miller here and James Snyder, right, guys? And they both, I take it, have been treated for prostate cancer. Okay. And I take it you have already had the surgery. That's true. Yes, and yes. Okay. And also, let's see. One is Army, Tom, and James is, no,
I'm
Tom
both.
is Navy. Excuse me. I apologize, Tom. And James is Navy. And I take it you are both covered anyway under the PACT Act, right?
I
If
would
you
believe
know,
so. I guess that's partially what, I haven't read deep into the PACT Act, but I was in Iraq
okay, yep,
from 2006 to 07.
yes. That means that for the folks that were served that went west, like myself, Agent Orange, Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand, um, Laos, Guam, Johnson Island, yes, under the PACT Act. And for you folks, the people that went east, okay, over in Iraq and Oman and Kuwait and Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Somalia, etc., you are covered essentially under the PACT Act. Okay, what that means for you two is we do not have to prove service connection. In other words, it's presumptive. Because you had boots on the ground, the VA accepts the fact that there is a long list of things that you get, which they will agree was caused because you jumped off the airplane and your boots hit the ground, even for 1 day. No problem. Okay, Tom, a question.
Well, actually, that was a question that came up in our previous discussions. I was in Bahrain for a couple of years, but that was before the first Gulf War.
Okay,
Other,
so
other than that, as far as the things that are qualifying that I had read, I don't think that I would come under the PACT Act.
okay, so in the Navy, during the wars over there, you were not on a ship that was off the coast,
No.
not any time at all. Okay, well then that means for you and I, we will have to figure out how to blame the Navy. Okay? James is like, no problem at all. They will accept it. And there are ways that it can be done, although it's a little more involved for the discussion here. Okay, so we will assume that you do have it. Okay, now, in the scheme of things, the thing that I'll do is to assist you creating the claim. Okay, I will do a sort of a skeleton. And the thing that I'll need out of both of you is not that the VA doesn't believe that you do not or you have not had prostate cancer. You got to prove it. So there should be some kind of biopsy report, right? You
I
need
do.
to then get your hands on it because that's going to be at least a start date for the um, prostate cancer. Now, I take it at some point in time, you both did the intent to file.
No.
No, you haven't done intent to file at all?
No.
Okay. Okay. So the thing that you'll do tomorrow is that you will call this phone number. Okay. And the phone number
Right.
is 1-800, okay, 827 1000. Okay. And it's the VA help desk, kind of like a help desk, okay, on the benefit side. And all that you do is to tell them, I want to do an intent to file. That's it. And all that that says is, I am going to be hopefully submitting a claim within the next 1 year. And to then establish this date as the pay date to pay me back to. Okay? So that will actually start it. Now, James probably did the intent to file. Did you do it before you got the biopsy or after?
So I was originally diagnosed with a biopsy in February 24, and we decided to do surveillance. I wasn't aware, that this was going to be a qualifying
Oh,
issue. I know. So in June of 25, I filed the intent to file. I have a copy
okay.
of it.
No
I did it.
problems.
I did it online.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
So my first biopsy with cancer was February of 24.
okay. So even though it was said that you had it in 24, your pay date will be as of June of 2025.
Right. Yeah, I'm tracking that.
Okay, fine. So we then have a year, but it isn't going to take that long. Okay, now,
Right.
okay, after the um, biopsy and you have it at some point in time, either you were doing an active surveillance, or you had a prostatectomy, or you had radiation. Need that report.
Right. So what I did was originally diagnosed in, like I said, February 24. I had a second biopsy in April of 25, and that precipitated a prostatectomy in September of 25.
Okay, well then we could take the biopsy out of the April of 25. Okay,
Right.
so now you are going to claim prostate cancer. Okay,
Right.
now at the point now the surgery time is germane, because once you have the surgery, you are then entitled to another disability secondary to your treatment. And that is something called not ED, but it's called loss of use of creative organ. And
Yes, I
it's
read about that in your
right. It's a
paper.
separate law under a thing called special monthly compensation. And it's under Public Law 38 USC 1114, subsection K. And so that's how come that surgery report is needed, because at that point in time, you start collecting $136.06. And that will continue for probably ever. Okay. Now we get back to how the VA handles surgery in general. They don't have specific rules for the prostate or the heart or, kidney, etc. In general, they will allow you to stay 100% temporarily disabled for up to 6 months while you heal. So you stay, according to the VA, 6 months from the surgery date. You remain 100% temporary. Okay, Bobby, there's a question here.
Yes, Jim. Does this affect if you're already totally and permanently disabled by VA? Because I'm classified permanently and totally disabled, and
Now,
I've been there for years. So how does that affect this?
well, it affects it. It doesn't affect it in a negative way, and it can affect it in a positive way, because believe it or not, you can get more than 100% money. I do, because I've got 3 100% disabilities. And because of that, and if you then meet the provisions of a public law called 38 USC 1114, subsection S, or Sierra, you can collect about an extra $450 to $75 a month. So sort of hold on to that, and consequently, at the time I get to you, I can explain exactly, or we could determine if it applies to you.
Okay.
And also why I believe you should apply for that, even though you could be 100% P&T anyway, even if you don't get essentially extra money. Okay?
Okay.
So just hold that thought, and I will go back to Tom and James. Now, as I said, according to the VA, you will be okay 100% temporary from the time of your surgery, 6 months. But what they don't understand, and the thing that I do essentially in your claim, is to ensure they understand that your treatment plan actually has you under treatment for 1 year after you have the surgery. And that treatment consists of getting a PSA test every 3 months for 1 year. And the reason is, even though they may believe they happen to get it all, you hope they got it all, it looks like they got it all, they cannot be sure. Okay? So the thing that you'll do every 3 months is to go in there probably very, very anxious, give blood, and wait for the test, and it should be undetectable. And if you do that 4 times, then at that point, there will be a celebration, and you will be declared as in a durable remission. You're not cured. If a doctor says, oh, you're cured, no, you are not cured. Because statistically, there is around a 30% chance that it will be back at some point. Hopefully not, but then, now, at that point in time, the VA's going to be knocking on your door going, well, now you were treated, treatment's over, and now we are going to downgrade you based upon residual effects. And there's 2 criteria. It's called, how many times a night do you get up to go to the bathroom? And also, how many pads do you go through in a day? And now, a day meaning 24-hour day. And the thing we'll do is, I do have those questions available for you to review before you have this exam a year from now or so. And also, I have the possible answers. Not that you should lie, but you should understand what's going to happen in a C&P exam, compensation and pension. And understanding that these are going to be done by contractors, not the VA. Because be aware that the VA is divided into 2 separate Army or Navy, Air Forces. One is the healthcare army, and the other one gives you money. And they don't talk to each other, which is actually a good thing, believe it or not, because you sit between the 2 entities. So this is going to be essentially on the benefit side, that they will farm you out to a contract, one about 4 or 5 around the world, that will then call you in, ask you questions, and based upon what they respond, you will be downgraded from 100% down to either 10, 20, 40, or 60. Okay? So Okay, now, I think we got some questions. Eric, you have a question that you put into the chat, but would you like to ask it so everybody
Sure.
can hear?
Is that same program or the same time period work when you have radiation treatment from a biological recurrence?
Okay, now, okay, the same thing happens. Let's say that your initial treatment is now radiation, okay? Radiation gives you 3 months to heal. But on the initial treatment, you still undergo the 1 year of PSA test. Okay? Now, let's say that you go through that year, everything is cool, and now all of a sudden, now you go through the CNP exams, and let's say you are downgraded to 40%, and life is good. And then a year goes by, and all of a sudden, you think it's back, right? At the time you go back under treatment, you would have to file another claim to then update the fact that it's back active again and you're under treatment. So you would be bounced back up to then 100% as long as you were under treatment. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess I'm still, well, we can talk offline sometime. I'm just curious on, in my case, you know, I had the radiation that ended in February of this year, and now I'm every 3 months PSA and testosterone since I took the Lupron as well.
Now, now, when did you do essentially intent to file?
I want to say 45 to 60 days ago.
Okay, well, then that starts the pay date. So everything prior to that, you get nothing for. But now you are still under treatment because you are under treatment with ADT, right? Androgen deprivation therapy. That is a treatment, and you'll stay under 100% as long as you're on it, right? Okay. Now, once you go off of it, they believe that you should be okay, right? But what will determine that? It'll be 1 year of PSA test, right? Every 3 months, because it will take time for that stuff to get out of your system. Actually, it took me close to 17 months until it even budged.
Wow.
Okay. So at some point in time down the road, after you've stopped it and you have the PSA test, the doctors will say, okay, it looks like we got it all, and now we will declare durable remission. And at that point in time, you are then downgraded again. Okay? But it's up to you to keep track of all that stuff and to understand when it is appropriate to do the updated claim. Okay?
All right.
Okay. Now, Tom and James, is there any questions so far about what you need to do in the next 2 weeks or so? Well, actually, James, it'll be fairly easy to do yours. And the way it works is that I will do a draft of it according to a sort of a template I have. And I'm going to need some information out of you, which I won't get here, but about your career, okay, the career field that you were in, okay, the dates that you were over there, et cetera, et cetera. Okay,
Right. So
I
you'll
can get
send me that list of things I need to get to
Yeah,
you.
I
So I
will.
did have
Now, Tom, what?
a gee whiz question.
Okay,
I was deployed from 06 to 07. I've also been diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic since 2010. It does
okay.
appear that the PACT covers that also, but I don't know
Well,
what that.
okay. The thing I would recommend, because the more things we throw into this thing, the longer it will take. Okay.
Right.
So, a strategy I try to follow, okay, is that for the prostate cancer alone, you get 100% temporary for a year, right?
Right.
Once that claim is in, then you start looking ahead, because what you believe will happen in a year from now, I'm going to be downgraded to something. And the key is, I don't know if, I think you're both retired, aren't you, out of the military?
Yes.
Understand that if you are 10, 20, 30, or 40%, any money you get out of the VA will be subtracted from your military check. But if you can get to 45%, which is rounded to 50, your military retirement check changes, and it's now called concurrent retirement disability pension, CRDP. And that's the way you'll see it on your DFAS statement that comes in. CRDP, okay, X amount of money. Okay. So the thing that we do is to get you 100%. And now this will then allow you, after it's awarded, to put in another intent to file. Okay. And now, if there's any of these other odds and ends, diabetes, I got a bad back, I sprained my knee, et cetera, gives you time in that year to put together the claim. And hopefully, after we do yours, actually, you will understand the process, and you can do the vast majority of all this stuff that I do yourself. And then what I can do is just help you in the end to tweak it. Okay. And out of all this stuff, you will learn how to submit your own claim. I don't submit claims unless I absolutely have to, because I don't want all of that legal responsibility and the paperwork to assign me, the authority to speak for you. No, 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 no. And I do it for free. So in the scheme of things, I teach you how to do it, and then you should handle it yourself. And also you will submit it yourself, because that's the way you can talk to the VA electronically. Richard, you have had your hand up.
Yes, sir. This will apply to the topic of discussion. I was going to bring
Oh,
this up
good.
later, but let me ask you. You mentioned 4 times undetectable. So your terminology of undetectable, that means below 1.0, that qualifies as one detectable. I'm only saying that because
Right.
now 17 months out of my treatment, I've had PSA 5.7, 6 months later, PSA 3.5, and the third one was a 2.78. And the last one was a 2.57.
Okay,
So
now,
these are all detectable, but they're starting to go low. And the oncologist said, well, it may stabilize at that low levels. But if I'm hearing undetectable, that means I interpret that as I'm still qualified to continue on 100%. So is that?
well, actually, now,
Oh,
did you have a prostatectomy?
no.
Okay. Radiation, because you still have the little beast,
Oh,
Okay.
it doesn't count. Because remember, it can generate a PSA on its own.
okay.
So in the radiation wise, it gets important that, and I am not a doctor. The only thing I do know is that as you go through that year, your radiation or your PSA will actually start to rise, and eventually it will peak and it will drop back down, also called in the trade a radiation bump.
Bump, right.
And that's where you and the radiation doctor have to come to the conclusion that after the year that you are now in a durable. If there's doubt, you would continue. You could go 15 months, 18 months, you're still under treatment, but at some point in time, then victory is declared, and now this is the time to then downgrade. And each time the VA comes to you, the ping, your story is, wait a minute, folks, I'm still under treatment, and therefore I should remain at 100%.
That was my intent. If I'm still waiting for the CMP exam to occur, but I
Right.
want to be on solid ground to say, well, right now, even though it's going from 2.58, 2.7, we have to wait for at least 2 or 3 more tests to determine durability. And I just, durability, if it's around 2.0, let's hope,
Right.
well, who knows what they'll drop me to.
Hell, the thing that you'll do prior to the CNP exam is that you will get a letter, a Nexus letter out of the doctor that says, yep, he's still under my care and I'm still treating him, and keep your hands off of him.
Okay.
No, actually, right.
From doctor. Okay.
And, right. That is called a Nexus letter. Right. Because not that they don't believe us, because, hey, there's a lot of money at stake. I mean, 100% is like over $4,000 a month.
Yeah. And just real quick, I want to bring up something else that, as you well know, on the residuals that they assess after radiation is based on the number of absorbent pads. So 40% is 3 to 4 times a day, correct? And
well,
60%,
actually, that has changed.
What is it now for?
Okay.
For 60%, what is that?
60% is 5 or more a day, meaning a 24-hour day.
That's fine.
They don't have anything for pads for like 3 or 4. It's, in general, it's get up in the middle of the night to pee 1 to 2 times is 10.
Okay.
3 to 4 is 20. 5 or more is 40. And 5 or more pads is 60.
Right. Percent. Yeah.
So in the scheme of things, as I always tell folks is, but they never tell you over what time period. Should it be over a week? Should it be over 2 weeks? Should it be over a month? Well, personally speaking, if it was me, I would use worst case in a month.
And just I did something, and in preparation of my CMP exam, when I was at my last appointment with my oncologist, he was asking me how many pads do I change a day? Well, previously it was 3 or 4, and then it dawned on me, because these things were uncomfortable, that perhaps what do I do with this thing? You're probably all familiar with the big bulky pads, the big old nasty things like that. This is dry, unused. But there is the smaller pads, which are inserts into underwear.
Right.
Now, what's interesting, that if you have leakage, if you carry 2 or 3 of those in your pocket, you can whip one out and put another one in. That counts as a pad change. Whereas with the larger pads, you could probably go 2 or 3 more pre-bathroom trips. So in scheme of things, I'm capable now, through the use of the smaller pads, of saying, oh, I change pads 5 or more times a day. I'm not telling the size of the pads, but it's just to let you know that might be a way to get it to the 60% benchmark. Using the smaller pads, because you can change them more frequently.
Right. Anyway, I don't consider that cheating. And although I would not go into that detailed explanation at a CNP exam, because you might just talk yourself out of it. I mean, it's true. They say, anyway, how many pads a day? Okay, this is the number I use.
Yep.
Okay, great. That's cool.
I've read and read, and I kept reading and researching, and all they're saying is pads, pads, pads. Nothing about size or absorbability.
Right. Okay, Mark, you have your hands up.
Yeah, I want to go back to Eric. He's kind of behind the 8 ball on his claim, but I don't want him to stop right now, because he's at the very beginning of his claim. And even though he's had radiation, and even though he's taken his he's taking his hormone treatments and things like that. Because you could get to a year and then all of a sudden find yourself still having to do the hormone treatment, still having to do 3 months, having your blood tested and things like that. I was 3 years. It was 3 years after radiation. I had 48 treatments of radiation, AD for 2.5 years. And it just, so if somebody says, Eric, it's like, well, after a year, you're not going to get your 100%. That's not true. You might have to go in for a P&C exam, and they say, well, I'm still underneath the, doctor's treatment. And that's what Richard's done. Is, I don't know how long has Richard been here. Richard's been here probably 3 years now, and he's old now though. But he has been going through this whole process, because it's 100%, and they're going to want to, after a P&C exam, say, okay, you're done. You say, well, wait a minute here. I'm still on this, and I'm still on this, and I'm still on this. And, I'm 4 years out from radiation, and I could see the doc tomorrow, and, it just keeps on going and going and going. And you just got to tell these people, I'm still under treatment. I'm still under 3 months. I'm still doing this, and I'm still doing that. But, because they're going to say, well, the doc's going to say, well, I don't have to see you for 6 more months. And you say, okay, I'll see you in 3. And he goes, no, I don't have to see you until 6 months from now. And you go, okay, I'll see you in 3 months. And I'm going to have blood tests done and everything else because, like Richard says, those numbers fluctuate up and down. And you got to stay on top of this. So don't give up, Eric. That's all I'm saying. You're kind of behind the 8 ball on this, but at the same time, just hang in there. It'll all fall in place. And if you don't believe me, just look over at Richard over there, because I've been telling him this for 3 years.
3 years, yeah. On top of that wonderful advice Mark gave, I'm going to suggest you keep a log. You keep a log of how many trips you go in the bathroom that Jim's talking about at night or during the day. Keep a log of the pads, and keep your receipts. So if you have to purchase pads, because if you go in to justify your residuals, you want to back it up to say, hey, look, I'm buying these. Look, a package of pads every so often, blah, blah. It's right here. See the date on this receipt, this receipt, this receipt. So whatever you can do, keep a record of it, or log too.
Okay, now just a sidebar issue on the pads. You can get those out of the VA. The VA will supply you supplies. Henry Holloway, let's see, aren't you the one that gets the pads out of the VA? Or am I thinking about somebody else?
I have, and there's been a lapse in it, but I will certainly request.
Okay, sure. I mean, that's hey, they're there, and so start it up, and if you have to have them, use them. Okay. Tom and James. Okay, are there any more questions at this point? I think you understand sort of like the flow of how this is going to work. So over the next probably week or so, I will be contacting you to set up some calls or something to get the information. And for you, James, it is easy to do. Tom's going to take some creativity. Okay. But I will discuss it with Tom exactly how, because I did Bob Schwartz. Okay, he just is about to take in a claim. So, okay.
I do have a question. Just
Oh, what?
so I did my intent to file in June.
Oh, wait. You said you didn't do one. I thought you said you didn't do one.
No, I did do a intent to file.
Excuse me, James. I thought it was Tom. Right.
No,
yes.
Right. So
yes.
And then my surgery's in September. When does that 1 year time start of? Is that
Intent
after
to
the
file
surgery?
date. So
No, I know that.
you will
I
be
mean, obviously-
paid.
Go
You
ahead,
will
I'm
be
sorry.
paid back to at the time you're called. Let's say we can take in the claim by the end of the month. Okay. And it'll probably take them 2 months to do the claim. So January comes and you did the intent to file date back in when? June? Okay. So you're going to have about 7 months, and all of a sudden, one day, you will be looking at your account and the wife will say, what's this $29,000 that just showed up for? And obviously it's a payoff to her because of all of the aggravation. No. Actually, so far, the record that is being held by this group is, I have a guy that called me a couple of weeks ago and said, $56,600. is the back check. And then at that point in time, you will be collecting about between 43 and 4,400 hours a month.
Right. And then how
From-
long will that 100%, when does
Okay.
the 100% thing start? June or September when I had my surgery?
No, September.
No. Actually, it will start at the biopsy. You said there was a biopsy in April, right?
Correct.
April, then intent to file in June.
Right.
At that point in time, you started under treatment because you have the prostate cancer. You get paid. Now, at that point in time, between June and the time that you did your actual thing, you were on, in essence, active surveillance, preparing for your decision to be made. So it all starts in June, the money-wise,
Right.
okay? And it will proceed until the doctor declares you being in a durable remission. And hopefully
Right.
that'll be 1 year after your surgery.
Right. Okay. Now that makes sense because that's
And at that
exactly
point,
what
you'll
the doctor
drop.
told me.
Now,
Right.
let's just say that you say, look, I don't go through, but 3 pads a day and I get up no more than 4 times a night. Well, now you're dropped down to 20%. So that's why in this year that you've got 100%, you start to pursue diabetes. Diabetes, the way I understand, if it's able to be controlled by drugs, is 20%. Okay, so even if you were 20 and 20, it doesn't come up to 45. So it's time to start looking in the mirror and saying, what else is wrong with me? And I know it's hard to admit, hardcore military guys, and the worst people I have to deal with are special forces and ranger guys. And gals, believe it or not, they have gals, special forces, who will not admit they have anything wrong with them until you press them and you goat them, and they finally will admit because of all the crazy things they did. Okay?
Yeah, I'm tracking. I'm actually diabetes. I'm actually on insulin, so that might be different than just
Well,
drugs.
I would have to look at all this information that I use is then available on the internet, and I will give it to you. You can check it out yourself.
Right.
Okay. Okay, Tom. Okay, are we good? Okay, great. Okay, let's go on to next one. Tony Fig. Yes, sir. Any little update here? You are muted.
Yeah, I asked you this question before, but I don't
Okay.
recall what the best solution is. If I was recently awarded 100% temporary, and that will last for, I think you indicated 6 months. So would I get a Nexus letter now from the doctor to try to get it changed to 100% permanent at this point, or just ride it out?
Well, it depends. It depends on the condition. Are you going to be under treatment forever?
Yes.
Ever and ever?
Yeah, I've got 5 different high risk categories from the biopsy. Plus, I'm having problems with cystitis of the bladder from radiation.
Okay, but that's a different, that is a secondary effect. Okay, but you say that, so
I'm
is
not
it
on
a
any drug treatment.
recurrence?
Yeah, I'm not on any drug right now, but my PSA after 2 years is starting to go up again.
Well, even though it goes up, now, did you have a prostatectomy?
Yes,
Okay, and the PSA's going up?
yes,
Have they identified, or would the doctor put into a letter that you are now recurrent and you are stage 4?
yes. Well,
Okay,
I think
well, if,
I'm stage 3B or something like that.
no, well, stage 3, as I found out, if you say metastatic prostate cancer, that can be stage 3 or stage 4. Stage 3 means that it still could possibly be treated and go back into a durable remission. Now,
Okay.
if you've got any of the metastases outside
So,
of the pelvic area, then that's stage 4.
mhm.
But if it's all contained within the pelvic area, it's stage 3.
Okay.
That is still temp. Now, you could go, well, you would be 100% temporary because you're back under treatment if you
That's right.
had been downgraded. Okay?
Yeah, I've been under ongoing treatment since the radiation was the last, getting tested every 3 months.
Okay. And are you 100%?
Yes.
Okay, well, then you are doing exactly what you should be doing. And then essentially a C and P exam comes, you would present them with a letter that says he's still under treatment. And what they do, and they may even eventually just call you on the phone and say, are you still under treatment? You go, yep, by golly, I am.
Okay.
And Jim, I think also
Yeah.
with Tony, once he goes into a 4 and he's had this long story going on here, he might end up with P&T, because
Oh, absolutely.
absolutely. And I think that's where Tony's at right now. He's at this wiggle woggle point, but from everything he's told us in the past, I think he's working his way to a 4, and I think that's kind of
Hell, hopefully
the
he isn't in the long
no,
haul. I
I
mean,
know.
I do not want to wish stage 4 onto anybody because that's what I've got.
Well, I think he's at the
Yeah.
the 100, and he was wondering
Yeah.
if he's going to lose that, and I don't see it. I think it's going in the other
Yeah.
direction.
Okay.
Okay. On my
Okay, Hank.
notification
Oh, wait.
from the VA, it
Yeah.
said that part of the distribution is my wife is included in it, in the disability payment.
Your wife is?
It said your monthly entitlement amount includes payment for the following dependent, and then it said my wife's name.
Oh, yes. Yes, because you filed probably a 21686 Charlie form saying you have a wife, and because you have a wife, she's worth about an extra $200 a month. Now,
Okay.
now it isn't paying her, it's paying you because you have her. it isn't like she gets an extra check.
Okay.
And
So
so
if she
if
wants
you
to
had,
get her hands on it, then
what?
if she wants to get her hands on it, then it really, can't claim ownership of it.
No,
Well,
don't
it
tell her.
depends.
Don't tell her.
Yeah,
Don't
right.
tell her.
Right. And okay, and if you have children up to age 17, they are worth extra money. And also, if you have a child in college from 18 to 23 in a qualified school, they are worth extra money. Okay?
Okay. On the
Okay, Hank.
residual effect,
Right.
that radiation does have residual effects, and sometimes people won't experience them for 4, 5, 8 years afterwards. Is that taken into consideration?
Well, actually, the thing that you would do is to file another another claim for that radiation cystitis as secondary to your original treatment.
Okay.
Okay. That'll be okay. Hank, I think you had a question, and I
Not
want
a
to get to
question.
you before you leave.
Yeah, not a question. I was just going to give a
Oh.
little quick update.
Oh, yeah,
and
good.
I was just actually typing it into the chat, so I'll read you what I just typed and then I'll send it.
Oh, okay.
So to the new guys, I wanted to give them a good welcome, and my testimonial here is that Jim is the best. I'm the sort of guy who gets intimidated by unfamiliar paperwork, and he's been my bulldog, my seeing eye dog, and my best friend in getting my claim submitted so that I don't make a bunch of rookie mistakes here. And just can't say enough good about the help that he's given me. So my paperwork, first round is in. My claim is getting polished up and will be in another week or so. And it's just been a huge pleasure working with him. So for new guys here, you've come to the right place.
Okay, I thank you very much.
I'm
Okay,
gonna hit send and I'm gonna punch out.
Okay, great. Okay, Eric, your turn. And I've got some good news for you because your claim is going to be almost identical to 2 other claims I've done, because what you're doing is because you are not covered under the PACT Act. Okay, because you didn't go west, you didn't go east, you didn't even go south. Okay, but you served at Fort Knox. Okay, and Fort Knox is an EPA toxic waste site for trichloroethylene. And I've already got 2 vets who did exactly the same as you, served there, and one was a draftee, the other one was anyway 8 years total in the Army. And what they did was to get a doctor to write a Nexus letter along with, and we convinced the doctor that indeed trichloroethylene can cause prostate cancer. And
So I
the
sent you the
doctor,
Nexus letter.
right, wrote a Nexus letter saying in their professional opinion that indeed it was caused, or the person's prostate cancer was caused by that exposure to trichloroethylene. Okay. So the only thing I have to do is to polish up one of those claims and customize it for you. Okay. And that should be fairly easy to do, straightforward to do. And plus, in that claim, I have other papers attesting to that, scientific thing, PhDs, etc., and also include in there 5 VA appeal cases where the person was denied. They took it to a VA judge, and the VA judge awarded them service connection. So I've got that in there, and I said both of them were awarded that. So I don't see a problem with that. So all I have to do is to have some time, which I'll probably have some time next week or so. This is a busy week. So
Next week's a holiday week, so I don't know. You're okay if we wait till the week after.
Well, it'll be for me, not for you.
Yeah. All right.
Although I may just have to shoot you an email or two to get a few facts, which I've got a lot of them, but I can do probably about 95% of it customized to you, and then just a few things. Okay. So
good.
And then out of that, and this is for James and Tom, is that you'll also get 100% free VA healthcare, even if you are eventually only rated at 20% because of the toxic exposure. And that's true for you, Tom, because you probably served on, I believe, a Navy ship at some point in time. Is that not true? Never served on a ship in the Navy?
Oh, I spent more time with the Marines than I did with the Navy.
Oh, you were, okay, but you never were on a ship? You never even set foot on a ship?
No, I was on a salvage barge. I was on a salvage barge for 3 weeks in the Persian Gulf, but that was my longest service on a ship.
Wait, a salvage barge in the Gulf.
Right.
When was you on that barge in the Gulf?
1987.
Okay, 1987. But other than that, with the Marines, you were never transported on a ship with the Marines?
No. I was a medical officer, and so so I yes.
Okay, you were a medical officer. Well, obviously you were probably at some port, right?
Yes.
Norfolk, San Diego, etc., right?
Yes.
Okay, well, those are, additionally, they are EPA toxic waste sites. Did you know that?
No.
All of the Navy, Army bases, Air Force bases, they are all have been turned into EPA toxic waste sites. Cleanup. And there's all kinds of stuff. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Eric, anyway, anything else that you would like to ask?
No, I think you answered that question. My ultimate goal, whether I get to experience any of the 100% for any long period of time, short period of time, my interest is really connecting my cancer to my service time. You know,
Yeah, that is, and once you do that, then I would not discount VA healthcare even if you don't use it, because you probably have a private plan today, right?
Correct.
Okay. And once you have VA healthcare, what you do is you tell your private plan that you have VA healthcare, which will pay second. So anything that you have to pay out of pocket gets billed to the VA. And
As a
whatever
secondary
they
insurance?
allow, what?
As a secondary insurance, is that what you said? Dan?
Yes.
Okay.
As a secondary insurance, and whatever they allow, not what they're billed. They can get billed $1,000 and they go, it's only worth 200. The hell with them. Must be accepted as final payment.
Wow.
Ooh, you
Yeah.
owe zero.
Yeah.
That's the way. Also, it works exactly the same for TRICARE. If you've got TRICARE, anybody that has TRICARE, and if they have a private health insurance, maybe you're now a hotshot contractor and you get the free gold-plated healthcare plan and you decide to use it, but you still have TRICARE, you tell that gold plan that you've got TRICARE, which will pay second. Or even if you've got Medicare and a federal health insurance and TRICARE and VA, you can never have enough health care in old age. Mark.
Okay, Eric, I'm going to make it as simple as possible. I came back from Vietnam, went in the VA system in 78. I've had seizures, still do. I've had prostate cancer, still do. I have Parkinson's disease now, also all service connected. And since 1978, I have paid welcome to the VA system because they've done this to me and I've been in the system. A lot of people are like, I don't want to get involved, blah, 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 blah. I mean, the colonel down there, he can shake his head up and down, but you got to get in the system. So, I mean, once you get in there, they pay your stuff. You shouldn't have to pay anything.
Additionally, Mark, isn't it now? It's true that if you get to 90% or 100%, that your wife can get ChampVA health insurance, which is akin to TRICARE. But now, if you have TRICARE, you can't, or if she has TRICARE, she can't have ChampVA. So for the people who are not military retired, that is an incentive to try to get up to at least 85%, which is rounded to 90, because then the wife and ChampVA runs what, about $800 a year, or so I thought I saw that, or some small amount. I mean, it isn't much.
No.
So that's
and
always
then
good.
And then when you get into Medicaid, you know, or Medicare, then you have to have Plan B. So you know, it all gets tricky down the road. But I'm telling you, you know, it's Eric, you got to go to the VA, buddy. Get it all started because
Mark,
every day. Yes, sir.
I got a question. You mentioned something that I've been thinking about. To have, well, first of all, after you get to 65, to get VA health insurance, I don't believe you have to have Part B Medicare, right?
No,
or
no,
am I wrong?
I'm talking TRICARE. I mean, I'm talking for your wife. I'm talking. I'm talking
now for
ChampVA. I'm talking ChampVA.
Right. ChampVA for the wife, she
Correct.
needs to have Part B
Correct.
Medicare.
Correct.
Okay, fine. Yep.
Correct.
But we don't need Part B Medicare to get the VA health insurance.
No.
Although it might be a wise idea to have it anyway,
Right.
just in case
Right.
you
But
need it.
as for myself, everything, all my medicine, everything, emergency room, everything, all goes through the VA. Even like I've had to go on the street and have heart issues taken care of and things like that. All those tests and everything come through the VA, and the VA has to go on the street and get that permission. Yep. So all that's paid for. Put your wallet
Okay,
back in
Tony
your pocket.
Fig. Tony Fig has a question here.
Under the CHAMP Act for a spouse, I was assigned as 100 or as a priority one with the VA because of the PACT Act and TERA. Does that have any connection to 100% temporary or total disability?
No.
Or can you get health care because you're under the PACT Act or TERA for your wife?
Wait. Now, is this health care for you or health care for her?
For her, under the CHAMP Act.
No. Well, it isn't the CHAMP Act. It's the fact that you have to be either 90% or 100% permanent
Total.
and total.
Correct.
And if you are, then there are things that she is entitled to ChampVA and you're entitled to dental.
Education.
Yeah, there's
retraining,
education and all kinds of things, retraining and all kinds of things.
It will come in. It will come in your letter. When it comes in your letter saying you're permanent and total, it will list all these things, and one of them is ChampVA. So it'll be under that, Tony.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, I got a question. Since we're on the insurance issue, I'm only 61 years old, so I haven't qualified for the TRICARE for Life yet. But from what Mr. Marshall is saying, that I will have VA access because of PACT Act. But when
it isn't because of the PACT Act. It's because you are disabled and you are you are 50% or more. Well, no. You have a service-connected disability, number one. The next question is it free or not? Okay. Once you get to 50% or more, it's all free. If it's 10, 20, 30, or 40, okay, then you only get paid for, or only the disabled things are free. Now, it just so happens in your case, because of the fact that you are under the PACT Act, okay, you qualify for TERA, TERA, toxic exposure risk activity. That's healthcare. That is your 100% free VA healthcare, not to be confused with 100% money you get benefit side.
Right.
This is strictly healthcare. So.
Gotcha.
Okay, now, Tom, okay, over there, he could conceivably, because of the job he did, could then qualify for TERA, but he may have no disabilities at all. Perfectly okay. He doesn't get money, but he gets health care, or could. Okay.
Look,
So
look.
does,
If it's service connected, the VA has to give you treatment for your service connected injury. It's service connected. Okay. Now you might not get any money for that, but like some people get 10% or something like that. But it's service connected. That's covered. That's covered. And this is what people don't understand is that you've been injured in the military, whether it be a knee, an ankle, or whatever, and you get that in your record at the VA that is service connected. From then on, everything you go in there for that service connected, that's all covered by the VA.
yeah, now, as I said, once you get to 45% rounded to 50, then your whole body is service connected and healthcare is free. So the goal is to get you to at least 45 or more. Okay.
And the problem what VA's running into right now, and I'm being honest with you, there is so many veterans that have come back, not in body bags, but busted up from overseas, and they're starting to flood the VA system. So everybody has to understand is the more we tell people, veterans, that you have this this service for you, the system's starting to get overloaded a little bit. So be patient and when you go in there. But yes, if it's service connected, the VA has to take care of that for you, and that includes your pills too. So
That's how come I say today, if you are not registered, okay, within the healthcare side, get yourself registered, even if you don't intend to use them for your treatment. The only thing that you have to do is to get yourself a primary care provider, a doctor, and check in with that doctor once a year with one appointment and just say hello and then update them. And you're in their system, you're assigned to a doctor, and you can go in there and get treated. In other words, you then contact the primary care provider and ask to be referred to urology or dermatology electronically. And it happens, and now you're off and you are running inside the VA healthcare system.
And another thing, Jim, I'm sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but the people have to, these young men on here have to understand, if you were in the Army and you had wet feet and you've got bad problems with your feet and you got fungus and you can't never get all this stuff off your feet, that can be and probably would be service connected. But you have to go in to your primary care doctor, have them look at your feet and say, okay, I have to go see a podiatrist. They're in there and they'll go in and look at it. They'll clean your toenails for you. They'll clip them all. They examine them all and everything else. Now you guys are laughing, but I got funky feet and they're clipping my toenails. So I'm just saying it's in there. They provide it for you. Eric's laughing. I can see that, but it's this stuff. It's hospital treatment. So, and it's yours. It's yours. Use it.
Okay, then what you might want to do is to apply essentially on the other side of the house to get money for it, benefit side. Okay, because you are getting the healthcare side, you should be paid for it. Okay, Dan, You have your hand up.
So I'm registered in the system, and I've been going to the doctors, paying my copays and stuff like that. So how do I get reimbursed for that? And can I
Right.
backdate and then get paid for what I already paid myself?
Now, you say you are getting treated by who? Are you talking about a private health plan?
Yep, I'm getting treated by a private health plan, and then I have the deductible, which I'm responsible. So are you saying that I can collect that deductible back from the VA?
Well, have you declared your VA health insurance secondary to your private health insurance yet?
No.
Well, then no. Until you do that, you cannot go back a year or two and get all of that money. So
Okay.
now, are you actively within the VA healthcare system? Do
Yes,
you have a primary care provider?
I do.
Okay, fine. So as I say, how about to call up your Blue Cross, I don't know who it is,
Right
and
now.
tell them that you have VA health insurance that will pay what, second or third? Okay, are you
Mhm.
65? Because you don't quite look it yet.
Yeah, I'm 72.
Oh, okay, well, whew, okay,
So I call up Blue Cross Blue Shield, say I
yeah.
have VA, and just bill them for my co-payments.
No, you don't bill them at all. At the
Okay.
time you go to your thing, you probably will not even have to pay them
Right, okay.
because the Blue Cross will take care of it,
Okay. Okay.
or they should.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, there's another very important aspect for you, Dan, that
Mhm.
you should be aware of. Some of these drugs that you're using, and if you switch to other ones,
Uh-huh.
they can be very, very expensive,
Right.
and you will have no problem in getting through the $2,100 co-payment that
Mhm.
you're limited to. Now,
Mhm.
you can get these drugs through the VA.
Mhm.
But in order for you to get the drugs through the VA, you have to progress through the system, which Captain Jim is very well aware of.
Mhm.
So you need more than a PCP. You'll need a PCP, and then they'll send you to the urologist, and then the
Right.
urologist will send you to the medical oncologist. But by the time you get through all these people, all these steps, and you've seen the medical oncologist, they'll say, yes, we'll give you abiraterone.
Mhm.
And that abiraterone will cost you next to nothing. It will cost you a heck of a lot less than if you were to pay for it through your Blue Cross Blue Shield.
I have a good policy, so I don't pay anything for it anyway. So.
Well,
Okay.
okay. Well,
Okay.
that's good. Yeah. Hey,
In that case, you don't have to worry. But this is true for all you guys. This is why we say to you, make sure you're dual enrolled, even if you don't need it now. Because if you do need it and you do need to access a drug, it can take a few months for you to go jump through all the hoops before you're eligible to get the drugs that you need. So we encourage you to be dual enrolled. Did I say anything wrong, Captain Jim?
absolutely not. And in fact, you should probably, like me, I have a primary care doctor and I've got the cancer doctor also that I see. So I can go straight to him email wise and ask for things because I've already had 3 appointments with him.
Mhm.
So
This is a civilian doctor?
this is a VA doctor,
Okay,
a VA oncologist.
okay. All right. So, so I don't have VA oncologist, and so I should ask for one at this point?
The thing that you do is to electronically talk to your primary care doctor and say, I need a referral to the oncology folks. And so there will be a referral done on oncology will then assign you a doctor, and it'll take probably a month or two to then get in and with the first time, and you will go in, introduce yourself, update him or her essentially on your status, you know, the drugs you take, etc., and just keep them abreast of how things are going. So
Now,
just in
yeah,
case, yes, Rick, go ahead.
the only thing, and Jim, I think this is right, is they may force you to see a urologist before you get to see the oncologist.
Yeah, I didn't though, but I don't know. You
Right.
could.
So
You
I'll call
could.
I'll call my PC tomorrow, said I need a referral to the VA oncologist and get that referral and then call him
And
up.
see if he agrees.
Oh,
He
yeah.
could say, no, you need to go through the urologist first. Okay, fine. Okay, so I have a urologist and oncologist, and maybe eventually I'll get a dermatologist. And so you just start building these things up.
Okay.
And they're there just in case in your back pocket.
Right.
But you gotta, it's kind of like it's got to funnel through your primary care at the VA. So like you're coming off the street, it's got to go through primary care. And let me tell you something, primary care is going to go, oh no, I'm throwing you to urology because they're
Right.
too busy. So it doesn't
Right.
take long.
Right.
Okay. Okay, Dan.
Right. Yep.
Okay. Whoever, thank you, Mr. Marshall is, you're up.
Yes, I spent some time with you, Jim, on the phone, and you and Rick are incredible. I share this event with quite a few veterans, and I'm surprised how many of them don't have a clue to AnCan. And I described the group, and all of a sudden they become elated. So I hope to bring a few guys to your function. I wanted to follow up on Mark's comment about this cost. And I'm one. I went through emergency across the street by ambulance to an overnight stay in a state university hospital, and I got copies of my bill. It was 10% of what was charged. 12,000. VA paid about $1,100, and they mistakenly gave me about 2 inches or 3 inches of everybody else's bill. And universally, VA paid around 10%. Whether the bill was 300,000 or it was like mine, 12, they paid around 10%. So when Mark speaks, everyone knows what he's saying, but do we really know what the VA is doing for us? They're paying very little for our care with these contracts with the university hospitals. So I have to take off for a meeting, but I just want to reinforce Mark and what everyone thinks about the value of VA. I saw it firsthand. I took that packet and I sent it up to a U.S. senator, never heard from their office again. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and I applaud you all. It's a great, great opportunity. And Jim, the help you've given me has been immeasurable. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for being around. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yep. I thank you. Okay, Israel.
I've
What do
been
you got?
shaking. I've been shaking my head this whole meeting because I'm a perfect example of what you've been talking about. So I filed a VA claim before I knew about Jim and AnCan. I knew nothing about it. I worked with a VSO who was not very helpful, and I filed it for tinnitus and hearing loss, and it got denied. However, I had favorable findings on there, and unbeknownst to me, I was qualified for TERA, like Jim mentioned, and so under Jim's guidance, I signed up for VA medical. I'm now fully in the VA medical. I have my first appointment with my primary on December 10th, and I plan on getting referred.
He froze. Oh, well.
We lost you.
It was so good, Israel, that, hey, you just overpowered the airwaves. That's okay. That's okay. He'll be back. What do you think? Okay. Let's see. I think John has his. Oh, James, you have your hand up.
You're muted. Unmute,
That
Mr.
was
Schneider.
that
There you
was
go.
I put the hand up before I asked the question about
Oh,
TRICARE and stuff, so I'm good.
oh, okay.
Well,
okay.
I've got a couple of little things just to mention, which.
Oh, please do.
Yes. So Saturday I went up to do some shopping, and I was parked outside a store. I got out the car and I saw there was oh no, it was on my way back. I went in the store, I came back, and I went to put the stuff in the back of my my Jeep, and the guy had a vet's license plate. So I got into the car, and then I thought, oh my gosh, he had a vet's license plate. I should just go and tell him that we run this group and we do all these great things with the vets. And so he winds down the window, and I said, I see you're a vet. He said, yes. I said, I just want to tell you, we have some really good programming for vets. I said, we have a program for if you have VA care and you need some help with your navigating your health benefits, your health care or your benefits. Oh, he says, I don't need anything. I'm 100%. I said to him, well, I said, you could be more than 100%. And he says, no, you can't. And I said, I think you can. I said, I've seen some guys who are like 120 and 130%. He said, really? I said, yes. He said, well, give me one of those cards. So, so that was, so I try, if ever I see somebody who I see as a vet or I realize is a vet, I always try to stop by and say, we may be able to help you. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say, and Jim doesn't even know this yet, but he will, is that we got a very nice donation in Jim's honor yesterday. It was in my mailbox and I got to process it, but Jim does some incredible work for us, and some of the things you don't see is the donations we get in his honor. And if it's in his honor, we always tell him, so he knows that is not the way, that is not why he does it. Absolutely not. It's not why we do it, but it makes us all feel good, and we thank anybody who's doing that. The third thing I want to say, which has been on my mind, and Jim doesn't know I'm going to say this, but we need to get Jim some help. And so I know that most of the guys that are on here don't have the knowledge, and I know Jim's looking out. But if you see anybody, you run across anybody who you think you feel is knowledgeable, please introduce them to Jim, because we've got to get Jim some help. And you guys all know that, and we just don't want to leave him hanging out. So we're looking for help for Jim all the time. And that's all I got to say. And you've got now, since I started speaking, you got 2 more hands up, Captain.
Right. And Rick is the founder of all of this stuff, all of the AnCan Foundation offerings, which are cancers, prostate cancer, pancreatic, thyroid, etc. All of the men speaking freely, the women speaking freely, the veterans speaking freely, which I'll plug that at the end. But anyway, Israel's back because
and we have, can I just say before you go to Israel, and we also have an art class coming up, but you've got to register for that very soon. There was a plug for it in your reminder, and we're sending out, because we got sponsorship money for it, we're sending out free art supplies. So if you or any of your family are interested in participating in that art class, it's taught by Miss Hannah. Please come on in. And I think Hannah wanted to hear by the 24th, because she's busy sending out art supplies. So look for that. And if you don't know what to do, reach out to Jim or to me, and we'll get you squared away.
And sweatshirts are available on the website.
And sweatshirts, yes, sweatshirts are available through our shop. Mostly through our shop. Occasionally there are other ways, but mostly through our shop.
Right.
So yes, go back to you, Captain.
Okay, Israel, you are back here.
Yeah, I'm traveling and I'm in a timeshare, and it got cut off at like the worst period. So I'm back. So I just wanted to thank you again, Jim, for helping me with getting the coverage. Now you are working with me on doing a supplemental claim, and so a question for the group is, because I'm doing a supplemental claim and I'm writing this personal statement for both the tinnitus and the hearing loss, how long should I draft the statement? Approximately, is it 2 or 3 pages? Is it half a page? I know it's not 10 pages, but what should I be shooting for?
Actually, you should do a synopsis of your career. Okay. And then the thing I'll do is to take it and pull out the stuff that I feel is important, like refresh my memory. You are Navy?
Yeah, I was a Navy.
No.
I was the one that was on the ship that had asbestos, and I got the TERA.
Right. So, like, anyway, I need the names of the ships you're on, what you did on the ships, because the thing I like to do is put a picture of that ship in there, because these are civilians and I want to entertain them. So I do that with pictures of, there was a guy that flew anyway F4s and F-14 Tomcats. He was a Rio, a backseater, a radar intercept officer. So I put the pictures of those to entertain them, just to, make it interesting.
I'll put that together for you and send it out to you. And then as far as what Rick had mentioned, I mean, I'm willing to help out any way I can. I'm not near as knowledgeable as most people in the group, but if there's any admin stuff or low level stuff I can do to help, I'm more than willing to help out. That's the least I could do for what you've helped me out so far. So,
well, anyway, the help I'm talking about is essentially a knowledge transfer. In other words, to get up to speed on the VA and want to figure out how it works. And then afterwards, explain it to people. That's the gist of it all, because I'm an old guy, 81, and I've got 3 100%ers, and I don't know how many years I will be around, hopefully about 4 or 5, but after that, who knows? Okay?
Okay, well, I'm willing to
Um,
help out any way I can, so let me know if I can help. Thank you for
okay,
your time.
Don, a question?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, really, I was just going to support what Mark was saying. I guess it's a little dated now,
okay,
but I was going to though, and Larry Schuler will understand this too, because I recently come from Alaska. So I was going to say 2 things tonight. One has to do with the program that the VA has to transferring veterans geographically from one area to another, and it's very sophisticated, and I can't say anything but good things about it. So if anybody in our group is considering moving and trying to keep care, mine was, I sort of strategically planned my move from Alaska back to California after 15 years in Alaska. I planned it to revolve around 5 months of chemo and then 28 rounds of radiation. At the end of radiation, they wanted 6 weeks to clear out the inflammation and then do a PSA. And at the end of that PSA, it came out to be undetectable. And back on another matter that one of the guys had was, my understanding is that 0.014 is considered undetectable, and it's kind of a generic thing. And once all that happened, I planned my move. I now have my new oncologist. We've set up a new plan, which is I'm on vacation. The next 26 months, I visit him every 3 months, get a PSA, a blood draw with PSA, and a Lupron shot. And then, 3 months later, and that's an ongoing thing. But so that was the 2 things. But when it comes to classification, I have a question about what and how
okay,
the criteria is related to how a vet is classified. I have, like Mark, for 20 years, I have had multiple surgeries, at least 5, plus all of my oncology and my prostate cancer. And I have yet to pay 1 dime.
well,
0.
that's good.
And I'm single.
Okay,
I don't have a wife and or dependents. But I don't know if that has to do with because I'm classified a certain way. I'm not sure. I enlisted
Uh-huh.
in 68 and was released in 72, or excuse me, 74.
What is your disability rating?
I have no clue.
You have no, well, at some point, somebody, someplace must have put you in. Well, have you checked on www.va.gov?
Well, I haven't
It's,
checked as to what my
it's on there.
disability classification is. I've got, my healthy vet, that kind of thing, but
Well, the My Healthy Vet is healthcare. That's strictly healthcare.
mhm.
If you go on to www.va.gov, click on My VA, and it should be at the top. It'll say your name is, and then it will tell you what you are totally, well, your disability rating.
Disability rating. No, I don't know what my disability rating is.
Well, that's the place to find out.
And is that what determines classification?
Well, how do you mean classification? Are
Well,
we talking about money classification, or are we talking about healthcare classification?
well, some vets are charged more than other vets, I guess is the best way to put it.
Well, it depends on your disability rating.
Okay.
Or recently, if you qualify for TERA. Okay, TERA is healthcare. If you qualify for TERA, you get 100% free VA healthcare on the healthcare side. But if you are 50% or more disabled, you get 100% free VA healthcare on the healthcare side.
Okay. Well, I have no service-related disability, and I have no disability related to any ailments I've had. The VA
But
is
you
taking
were
care of.
in the military, right?
Correct. Correct.
How many years?
6 years in the Marine Corps.
6 years. And did you serve in Vietnam?
Nope, I never went overseas.
But
I
you were.
I went from Paris Island to Camp Lejeune, and then supply school in Camp Lejeune, and then in MCAS Yuma, and then and that's it.
All of those are EPA toxic waste sites, especially Lejeune.
I've heard that, and you and I discussed that.
Lejeune. Sylvester, chime in here, please. Sylvester is a retired VA employee. Yes, Sylvester.
Okay.
I have not kept up with all of the changes that affects the VA. But what I think, let me back up. There are two types of treatment medically from the VA system. The first type of treatment is for service-connected veterans.
Right.
The second type of treatment is for non-service connected veterans. The service-connected veterans are usually those veterans that are receiving payments from the VA. As Jim pointed out earlier, there are a group of veterans who are eligible for full treatment from the Veterans Administration, even if they are not getting payment. The non-service connected treatments are for veterans who are entitled to be treated for any condition because they are a veteran. VA can also charge these veterans for their treatment. The VA can bill the veterans insurance for payments like it does for Medicare or any other private organization. Now, maybe I'm misinterpreting what I'm hearing from Don, but from what little I understand him to be saying is that he is being treated for non-service connected disabilities. And I got that impression based on when he used the word charge. The VA can charge some veterans who are non-service connected for their treatment. A good example is me. I'm transferring into the VA system, and the VA system will bill my Medicare as well as bill me for co-payments. My private insurance pay my co-payments. So as a result, I'm not paying anything. But the exception of medical prescriptions, I will be required to pay for my medical prescriptions because my private insurance does not pay for my prescriptions. But co-payment, the VA will be billing either me or my insurance for my co-payments. But I want to keep this clear. I am entitled for medical treatment because I am a veteran. And I think that's what Don is referring to. And it also depends on my income.
There you go. I failed to mention.
If you are being treated for non-service connected disability,
Yep.
and you have the means. You may not have the insurance, but
Right.
you have the means to pay for your treatment to be able to bill you for its cost.
That's exactly what the situation is, Sylvester.
Okay.
I make poverty level. I make minimum wage level.
Right.
I collect Social Security and I play drums all over the place, and that does not go reported. So, you know,
Okay.
I'm a musician. So, and that's maybe part that's, I'm assuming that's what it is. I forgot to mention that I had assumed that because I live on that poverty line that I have yet to pay a dime for anything, and my Medicare, which I contribute to monthly, has not been billed or anything.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. Okay. Now, anybody who is within and with the Washington, D.C. area here, I put into the reminder that there is going to be the National Comprehensive Cancer Network's going to put on a day down in Washington, D.C. at the National Press Club. And it's going to talk about veteran support. So I signed up. Anybody can go who is around here. I think there's only a couple people on the call. Colonel Boykin, I don't know if James is interested.
Yeah, I'd
Hey.
be interested.
Hank,
Okay.
Hank
You
would be another
got
one.
the reminder, right? That came out on,
Yes.
right.
Yes, I
In
saw
there,
it.
okay, is the link. Just click on that. And in fact, you will have to get an NCCN user ID. I would suggest to do that anyway, because for the NCCN, that is the National Comprehensive Cancer Network. They have the guidelines for treating prostate cancer that are used by all of the centers of excellence around the country: MD Anderson, Dana-Farber, Memorial Sloan Kettering, UC San Francisco, and those are good to get. And they also issue reports anyway. And they put on a nice breakfast and a nice lunch, and the people are interesting, and the vendors that show up afterwards at 3 put on a good spread, and you can schmooze and mingle, and it was a fun time. Last time I went to one specifically for the prostate cancer folks, and it's accessible through a metro stop, which is about 3 blocks away. So you go to a metro station that has parking. If you want, contact me and you can park over in my area. I am over at the Braddock Road metro stop. There's plenty of parking on the street. And then head downtown. I think it's on a Tuesday, December 9th. Yeah. And everything is good. So, okay, in the end, is there any questions to bring up? And so in the next reminder, I will give you a preview. As I told the guys, I have been delving into the travel system, because for your appointments, you can get reimbursed for the travel. So I got interested in that, and it's been a real interesting experience how to get signed up for it. And okay, Larry.
Yes, no, thank you.
You have something to bring up quick?
Yeah, I have prostate cancer, and they've offered me. They've suggested I take radiation, but I'm declining that for the moment. Can that affect my
Okay.
eligibility or benefits or rating?
Now that I don't know because you are doing it on the healthcare side, not on the benefit side. So are you permanent and total?
Okay, yeah.
Are you classified as 100% permanent and total?
I'm classified as 100%. I'm not sure if it's permanent and total yet.
Okay, go on to www.va.gov, right? And after you're on, click on your name in the upper right-hand corner, Larry, okay? And there will be a pull down. And there is a thing called letters. Click on that. And in that list, there is a letter, something called benefit and disability, something or other. And it's a statement that will describe that you're 100%, and in there, if you're 100% permanent and total, there'll be a sentence that says that you are indeed 100% permanent and total. Okay?
Okay, I got all that written down.
Okay, so that would, now, if it isn't in there, it just says you're 100%, then you're probably temporary, which means that you should be doing, or that the VA is generally contacting you every 6 months to have a C&P exam to find out if you're still under treatment.
I did have one of those contractors examine me. They measured the length of my scar and asked me about how many pads and stuff.
When was that offhand?
Oh, geez, about, I don't know, 4 months ago or so.
4 months? Okay, which means now, in the diagnosis, are you actually stage 4? Or are you?
I was T3B last I checked. But that
Okay,
was,
so you're still stage 3, which means you are still in the temporary mode. I don't know if you refuse a treatment because it's your choice.
Right.
So that I am not sure. Okay, Dan.
Yes, sir. As you remember, I submitted a claim. I went to a high-level review, and we're going to talk about how I proceed from here. Is that
Okay.
something we can talk about offline?
Okay, are you talking about a prostate cancer treatment or what?
Yes, prostate
okay,
cancer.
sure. Yes. That would probably be not a topic for here.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Sure.
do I contact you or you contact me?
Why don't you contact me, let's see, tomorrow afternoon?
All right. Is your email address Jim KUBAT at Yahoo?
No.
I got it offline. Okay.
Do you have my phone?
I don't.
Okay. 703.
1 second. Okay. 703.
Hey,
338.
Jim and Dan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Since this is recorded, why don't we wait until afterwards?
Okay. Yes. Okay. Well, it's about time to shut down the recording, and then we'll. Thank you, everybody.
Harvey has his hand up.
Wait a minute.